In this video, we're going to take a look at travelermap.com and why I think you should use the Traveler Universe and travelermap.com for your setting in your space RPGs. But let's start at the beginning. What is travelermap.com? Well, travelermap.com is a map of space. So right now we're looking at travelermap.com, and this is just like most space maps for space RPGs. It's organized with hex grids, and within most of the hex grids is information about the planets or systems in that hex. So for example, I am looking at Chemgad here. It shows us a little, there's a star here. The main world is called Chemgad, so that's why the name is down here. And just above that is something in Traveler called the UWP, the Universal World Profile. And I think that used to be the UPP, the Universal Planetary Profile, but not all main worlds are planets, so that's why they changed it. The series of numbers and letters there refer to important information about the world. Things like size, starport type, air quality in the atmosphere, population, governance, style, law level, things like that. And at a glance, you can take that code and reference it with a few tables and identify a little bit of information about the world. There's also going to be some icons that identify whether or not there are any gas giants, whether or not there are any naval bases in the area. There's trade codes. At the very, very top, there is just the location of that particular hex. And some of these systems you see have like a yellow arc, and there's also red arcs, as you can see here in the bottom left corner of the screen, that represents some sort of danger. And then there's lines from system to system showing different trade routes and different travel routes. So on the surface, travelermap.com is like most other space maps, where it's divided by hexes and it has information on the front. Now, one of the advantages that travelermap.com has over other maps is the scope of it. So I'm going to slowly start zooming out here. Each set of worlds is organized into these rectangular quadrants that would be called subsectors, I believe, and these are named. So this one is named Oldetak. But if we zoom out even further, each of these subsectors are organized into sectors, and you can say that Oldetak is located here in the Antares sector. If I zoom out even further, we begin to get to see the scope of this particular map, and we can see that now these sectors are divided into territorial states, with the Imperium, the third Imperium, being here, and then a lot of the other main ones here and here around, with the Solomani, the Aslans, the Zodani, etc. If I zoom out even further, we begin to get a sense of where we are in the Milky Way galaxy. So this is identified as charted space. The Zodani core expeditions occurred up here, coreward. And as we zoom out, we are now looking at the Milky Way galaxy with a few other labeled areas within this galaxy. And this is where the Traveler Universe takes place, here in the Milky Way, and it's massively big, and yet when you zoom out you recognize just the futile nature of exploring the whole Milky Way galaxy, but there's a lifetime, more than one lifetime worth of information just in charted space. So in other words, it's huge, and if you're looking for a setting that you can explore in for a long time, this is the setting for you. I'm going to zoom back into charted space here, and I'm going to find a specific part of charted space. But first I want to talk a little bit about one of the great advantages of using the Traveler Universe as a setting. Traveler came out in the late 70s, and there has been 40 years of content that has been produced for this exact universe since 1978, 1979. Around that time period, the very first actual adventure with a pre-made worlds came out, and that I believe was near the Spinward Marches over here. And since then, adventures from both Traveler licensed material and then also third-party publishers have come out and have added to the history and the richness of this particular universe. So not every world in this universe has information about it, but many worlds do. And there's some areas like the Spinward Marches, the Trojan Reach, the Solomani Rim. These types of areas have a lot of content published about them. So I'm going to zoom in here to the Spinward Marches. So again, you can see all the colors. These are the different territories, depending on who owns what particular place. And I've forgotten where I'm going. I think I'm going down here. Let's let it load here. There we go. So what I'm going to go into is District 268 here. A lot of these worlds are not actually claimed as territory by, or I guess supported as territory by some of like the Third Imperium or other areas. And what I'm going to look at is I'm going to look at Walston here. Now, like I just said, one of the great things about Traveler is it's got 40 years of content to fill out this universe. And this is what I just find absolutely stunning about using TravelerMap.com for your space RPGs. Because the map itself creates an entire universe that you can go and explore that is already populated. But it's not just little circles on a map or little hexes on a map. There's a rich history. There's a lot of demographic information. There's a lot of just details about these worlds that already exist and already have been created for you. So if your player base wants to go to Walston here, we already talked about how we can look at the UWP to get some basic information, the icons give us some basic information, but up here in the upper left, you're going to see there's additional information. If I click the down arrow, it gives us some more information about this particular world, but there's also a link right here, and this links to the Wiki Traveler, the Traveler Wiki. So when I pull up the Traveler Wiki, now we can see all sorts of information about Walston, and this is absolutely incredible. It gives us planetology information about the system, the stellar system, a description, biomes and life forms, history and background of the planet, governance, and my favorite part, and there's a lot of information over here on the side too, as far as cultural details, economic details. You can go into these links and find the trade codes and figure out what types of cargo is being exported and imported into the planet. You can run your whole game just based on information from TravelerMap.com and from the wiki. But my favorite part is down here where it says references and contributors, because what you can do is go to a world like Walston and identify which resources, which adventures reference Walston in the last 40 years of Traveler history. So if your playing group decides that, hey, next session we want to go check out Walston, in between sessions, if you're the referee or judge, you can come to the wiki and identify what adventures you could run on Walston. High and Dry is a pretty popular starting out adventure for Walston, and that would be a great one if you're just getting started with your group. So this is, it's so fun, at least I find it fun, to go play Traveler using the Traveler map, and then come to the wiki and find out what other sources have been written, what other things have been referenced about that particular world in the last 40 years of Traveler gaming. So the wiki is another great advantage of a Traveler map. But that's not it. That's not all. There's a whole bunch more that's going on here. Because let's, like I was just showing you, you can go and buy these resources. But let's say you want to keep this completely free. Let's say that you don't want to buy any additional resources. You just have the Traveler core rulebook, or maybe you're playing a different system and you just want to use the Traveler setting. If that's the case, you don't have to buy these resources. You can still generate world-specific data for Walston just on Traveler Map. And to do that, what you can do is go to the Generate World Map link right here. If I click on that, it's going to bring up a new tab, and using the T5 rules, the Traveler 5 rules, which is another version of Traveler that really focused on world building, it's going to automatically build you a map. And this map is generated based on T5 rules, and it's going to give you a legend and a map. So now your players can go and actually explore this area. They know where to land. They know where the starport is. They know where the noble estate is. They know all these things. And if you scroll down, you can see a little bit more detail. A lot of this is covered in the wiki, but this has a little bit more detail because it's auto-generated to talk to you about the actual world of Walston. Now, I think this is absolutely incredible because, again, you don't need to purchase additional resources if you're just looking to use the maps and play around in these worlds. If you're looking at a sandbox, this is probably the best tool you can use when it comes to a setting. But that's not all that this tool offers. If we go to the View tab and go to the full star system, we can zoom out and look at what the actual star system looks like. We have our star, we have some gas giants, we have a few different worlds, and in addition to that, if we go down here, we can see these large worlds, right? The gas giants there, these ice worlds here, but we can also see the other items, the other planetoids, the other moons, the other planetary bodies in this system. So Walston is a moon on this large gas giant, and there's a number of other moons around these other worlds. And so we can go into Walston right here and go back and check out the Walston map, because this is the main world for this particular system. But if we go back to the full star system, and your players maybe say, you know what, we're tired of Walston, but we noticed that there is a ice world really far out, like Pluto, and we want to go check it out, we can go down there. We can go down to ice world Y7A8005, that's down here, and check out the details of this particular ice world. And hey, look at that. We have a map of this ice world, a keyed map showing us all the different places in this ice world. A lot of ice fields, there's a few islands, but if we scroll down here and check out temperatures, it is ridiculously cold on this ice world, and you know, nobody's living here. And so this is a super fun, super useful tool as a part of Traveler Map that lets you generate the systems that you're exploring. So you don't have to do the world generation. Again, for me, in using Traveler Map when I play, what this comes down to is it allows you to play in a world where everything's already been generated, everything's already been filled in. There's a literal full universe to explore, and you get to worry about the story. You get to worry about the story of the universe because the universe already exists. And I think that's really fun. Now, I do know that some people, and I've done this from time to time too, really enjoy generating their own stuff, and you can do that up here with Generate New Star System. Using the T5 rules, you can just generate your own stuff, subsector, star system, and then there's a number of other actions you can do here, both with the map and the system, and downloading these maps, downloading the star systems, exporting them, all sorts of things. Now I'm going to go back to Traveler Map, because what we've explored so far is the scope of Traveler Map, just how big it is, what other resources there are included with Traveler Map, like the Wiki or the World Generation tool. But Traveler Map also acts as Google Maps. And this is also very great when you're playing Traveler and your players want to go from one place to another. So I'm just going to search, got to go to my right keyboard, Walston. All right, so this is where we're at. It's going to zoom us out a little bit. So Walston's right here. And if we click this little travel button, this jump out button, it's going to ask us where we want to go next. So if I want to go to Flammarion, it's going to show us that using a jump to engine, meaning this engine can jump 2 hexes at a time, we're going to go from Walston to 567908, very fun place, and then to Flammarion, right? If we just have a jump 1 engine, it's going to give us information about how to get there 1 hex at a time. Not only that, but there's some additional settings you can choose down here, like avoiding red zones or requiring wilderness fueling, which in most cases means a gas giant of some sort. So if we click on that, it's going to turn red, meaning, well, there's no way to get from Walston to Flammarion with a J1 jump drive using only gas giants to refuel your ship. Okay, so we're going to have to find another way. And so Traveler Map acts as Google Maps throughout the entire universe. It is an incredibly powerful tool. I wanted to show you one more fun thing here. I'm going to scroll out. We're going to get rid of this. And so one of the strengths, I think, of the Traveler setting is how flexible it is. Really, unless you want to run a game with a specific IP like Star Wars or maybe a really in-depth Star Trek style game. If you just are looking for a generic setting, the Traveler universe can give you pretty much anything you want. It's got core worlds here where the capital is right in the middle. It's got fringe worlds. It's got unexplored places like the Great Rift here with the corridor. It's got I don't know, pretty much it's got every trope you could imagine for sci-fi. But one of the things it also has is it actually has Earth included in the Traveler universe. Remember, the universe takes place in the Milky Way galaxy, so it would make sense that Earth is included. So I'm going to go down here, scroll down to the Soleimani Rim, and we're going to find the Sol subsector, which is right here. And when we scroll in here, we're going to find Terra. So Terra's right here. I'll click on it. We can get to the wiki. And Terra, the one in Soleimani Rim, is Earth. There it is. There's Earth. And so it gives you all the information about what Earth is like within the Traveler universe. And if you're looking to run a game that is in the near future or something like that, this can still be a great resource because Earth is right here. And you can find out how to get to these places like Junction or the dangerous Fenris or things like that. And it's been really fun. The Traveler universe can offer pretty much anything you're looking for. Now, you can change some settings in the upper right. You can change that just tells you the legend, but you can change some settings here. You can change kind of the skin of what it looks like. A lot of the features you can turn on and off to see different parts of the map. It's got different overlays you can check out and a few other things. These are different time periods within the Traveler universe. And so there's a whole lot you can do with this tool. So To sum everything up, I highly suggest if you're looking for a setting for your space RPG to check out travelermap.com. And the reason I'm suggesting that is because of all the things I talked about. Number one, the scope is absolutely massive. Number two, it's super flexible. You can find anything you want. But most importantly to me, this is a fully fleshed out, a fully filled universe where every single system has a planet, a main world. It has information about the main world. Many of them have history, demographics, population information, all of that. Not only that, it's got setting information filled out. Star system information filled out, so you know what planets are there, what moons are there. It's essentially a universe that's ready to be explored and a universe that's ready for stories to be made of inside. So that's my pitch. I would highly suggest checking this out. Again, the link will be down below. Otherwise, please let me know, those of you who are experienced Traveler players, please let me know what I missed, what I got wrong. If you're new, I'd be curious to see what you think of it when you first check out travelermap.com. So give me a shout out in the comments and see. I'd love to hear what you have to say about this resource. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.